Spencer Yates. Hello, Dutch. We've been told for years how wrestlers have been shortchanged on pay by promoters. Dusty Rhodes, in his book, highlighted an example of him getting a low payoff down in Florida in the early 70s, while house show attendance was up. Eddie Graham muttered to him, "Shut the F up," and then gave Dusty a much larger payoff under the office cut of the house. Eddie was taking a large slice for the office than the roster and just kicking a little to Dusty. Since the wrestling promotions had first count of the house, it would be easy for them to adjust the attendance numbers to their own financial benefit. My question for you is this. In your own personal experience, who were the worst payoff promoters, not necessarily from a bad house or down territory, but promoters who were just blatantly effing their rosters out of money?
No, I think most of them. Most of the offices back in the day before WWE and maybe AEW, the promoters took what they wanted. Always remember, the promoters got first count. The way if it was by formula, it was by thirds. Say you have a $10,000 house, well, a third comes off that for expenses. Renting the building, the ring crew, advertising. So I've been $3,000, $3,300. So, and the remaining 66% was supposed to be split. A third to talent and a third to the office, to the promotion. So that would mean the promotion that night would have made $3,300 and the talent would have made $3,300. I'm doing it, on the 10 scale because it's easier to understand. But say you had 12 guys on the card. So 12 into 3,300 is how much? Can you figure that up real quick?
Oh, give me the thing again. What was it?
12 into 3,300.
Just under 3 times. Like 2.6 times. 2.7 times.
Okay. That means that the average payoff on that card should have been $270. And of course, your first and second match, say they'll make $150, the middle makes $270. So you take the rest of it, you give it to your main event. So your main event should have made $400. And that's the way it went. But they didn't do that. They probably went out and reported the house at $8,800. They pocket $1,200 right off the bat. You don't know. And it's the way they do business. And they see nothing wrong with it. So now you're dealing with a lower figure. And the promotion is still making money because they're going to get a third of that $8,800. But the talent's money goes down. They just don't tell anybody that. All promotions did that. The best payoff guy in the business, there were a few. Jim Barnett was one of them. Very good payoff guy. When you work with him, you made money. Paul Bosch out of Houston, you made good money. And this is why, and in Florida, sometimes you made money, sometimes you didn't. Memphis was the same way. I think it's what they had to pay for that week. Mm-hmm. But of course, they don't come and tell the talent, well, I took X number of dollars out of the total house because we have to pay this and pay that. That was never brought up. So if you say you didn't like your payoff, say, I didn't like my payoff with Jerry Jarrett. I said, hey, I didn't like that last week. And if he really wanted to keep me, which he has on a couple of times, he said, I'll make it up to you this week. He'd make it up, but guess where he'd make it up with? The talent money that he was going to pay them, he's going to pay it out anyway. He'd just take more of that for me. Still, the talent was getting screwed, but he was trying to shut me up, and I would just take money that he should have paid them.
So aside from the best payoff guys which is a different sort of kettle of fish in a sense. So who were the most honest payoff guys then? Apart from, because you mentioned Paul Bosch, who's renowned for being a great payoff guy and really honest as well. Were there any other guys who were particularly honest, and were there any guys that you found particularly dishonest when you could see that the houses were up and you were getting a lower payoff?
That's about all wrestling promotions back in the day. That was about all of them. See, when you're with a pack of thieves anyway, so when you're with thieves, so you expect thievery. So, and what are you going to do? You're going to bitch and moan, but you still were making more on that job than the last one you had. So you had to take the good with the bad. I have brought it up a couple times. I got more money the next week, but it was a touch and go situation. The worst payoff guy I ever saw was Nick Gulas in Nashville. Except when I worked for him, I got a guarantee, so I made the same money every week. So these guys that would come in, they're not making any money. I'm thinking, don't you know his reputation? He doesn't really pay unless you get the guarantee. I remember one time I got my check and it wasn't what it's supposed to be. I went back to his office and knocked on the door. I said, "Hey, the check's not right." "What is it, boy?" I said, "It's supposed to be this." "Oh, okay." He knew that. He signed the check. The crew wasn't that big. And so he just wrote me another check to make the difference, and out the door I went. It never happened again, but you got to stay. If it happens, you got to tell them right away. Or then they'll keep doing it unless they're checked on it.